A few months ago, I set up an SSH honeypot just to see how the experiment would go and collect some data, and I got nearly 50,000 pings on my server, which was a success in my opinion. If you'd like to see the results of that experiment, you can check up the video in the card above, but apart from that, I shall show you how to set up your own SSH server in a couple of minutes. The requirements to set up your own SSH honeypot are 1. Access to a cloud hosting platform, which is either going to be Linode, AWS, GCP, Azure, or whatever suits your fancy. I picked Linode for my cloud provider, and unfortunately I'm not sponsored by Linode, so you're gonna have to pay.
So we don't have the capacity.
One thing I do advise is do not spin up this server in your own home network. Do not do that unless you actually know what you're doing. But let's continue. Once you pick a cloud hosting platform, you're going to want to spin up an Ubuntu server. Like I said, I'm using Linode. I'm going to spin up a Linode. Once we spin this up, it's going to take a few minutes to provision. And once it has provisioned, you want to SSH into the machine. SSH into the machine, and before you do anything else, update the repos using sudo apt update. So the honeypot we're going to be using is from a GitHub repo called p. Git clone that repo and cd into it. It's a Python script, and your Ubuntu machine probably does not have Python pre-installed, so install Python. And before we actually run the script using Python, one thing you have to do is change the default port for SSH, which is always good practice when you spin up servers. So to change the SSH configuration, the file path is going to be etc SSH, and then the file is the sshd config. Uncomment the line that says port 22 and put the desired port of choice. Mine is going to be 9293. Now that that is done, you're ready to run your SSH honeypot. You can use the following command to do it. Python 3, the name of the script we're running, which is .py, -o, the name of the output file you want to save it to, and it's supposed to be .json, and then -p for port 22, where it's going to be listening. Once it is up and running, you can leave it to run in the same tab, or you can append the ampersand at the end so that it runs in the background and you can exit out of your terminal. With that being done, your SSH honeypot is running, and after a while, you could open up the passwords.json file and look at the IP addresses. That is literally it. You can check out my video on how the results went from me. It's pretty interesting actually. I suggest you check it out. I'll catch you in the next one.